Oh my gosh. Welcome to the CRAZYDRE Podcast Show, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is your main man, a.k.a. Crazy Crack, a.k.a. Andre's podcast. Folks, I am back. I'm using StreamYard, and I have my buddy Patrick with me. Patrick and I have met at Pepino's, and we talk at the coffee shop. But we're just not sports guys. We like music in itself. He's a jazz. Love the music. We go to
Live jazz.
Speakeasy Lounge
Yeah.
and listen to jazz on the record, and there's only two of us, and no one's there to listen to it. Poor guy.
Vinyl records. Vinyl.
Yeah, vinyl. Yeah. So we have to talk about one thing about Patrick that loves about music is that the guitars.
Yeah.
And one thing that Patrick has informed me is about some of the history of the Gibson guitar. So I'm going to let him run with it.
All right. Cool. Thank you, Andre. Always a pleasure to be on your podcast.
Thank you.
So,
Appreciate it.
Gibson Guitars has a long, storied history in the Kalamazoo area. They built guitars in and around Kalamazoo for 100 years, basically from 1884 to 1984, in and around Kalamazoo. And for 82 years, they built them in the very same factory, the legendary Gibson Guitar Factory at 225 Parsons Street, which I visited a couple of weeks ago. So a lot of people that play guitar and love guitars believe, as I do, that those were the best guitars ever made in the history of guitars. So besides being a guitarist, weekend guitarist, I recently started collecting, and I thought I'd start collecting Gibson guitars made in Kalamazoo. So Kalamazoo Gibsons. And as of now, I own 6 guitars total. 5 are Gibsons, 4 are made in Kalamazoo. The 5th one has a connection to Kalamazoo. The 5th one is a 1998 reissue of a 1952. So here's a wild story. I don't even know if I told you this, Andre, when we were hanging out, but my father was a guitarist, Tom, but he was a jazz guy only. Even though rock and roll was exploding around him, the Beatles were happening, Elvis was happening, that never touched his radar. He was a jazz guy.
Mm-hmm.
So on his 18th birthday, he ordered a guitar from Kalamazoo, and I don't know if he went to the factory to pick it up or they delivered it or what, but he ended up with a 1952 Gibson ES5, which is a gorgeous big hollow body jazz guitar. And next time we do this, I can show it. I can be handing it. I can be showing it right on the podcast. It's just stunningly gorgeous. So that was 1952. So fast forward to approximately 1990. So let's go with 40 years later. He's married. He lives in a house in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Someone breaks into his house and they're looking for cash. And they don't find the cash and they get frustrated. And instead of stealing his vintage guitar, they lay it on the ground and crush it.
They crushed it?
They stomped on it.
Holy crap.
And then left the house. They were eventually caught, and we think that they were desperate for cash for drugs. But they didn't take the guitar. They laid it on the ground and stomped on it.
Jeez.
So my dad spent a couple years trying to find someone to repair it and couldn't. It was either we just can't do it because it was in little pieces, or if we do it, it will be wildly expensive. So my dad gave up on that, but in part, he gave up because coincidentally, and I believe in karma, coincidentally, Gibson, out of the blue, decides to reissue the 1952 ES5, but in 1998.
Oh,
So he used the insurance money to buy a 1998 ES5 that looks identical to the
oh wow,
52. Like maybe on
wow.
the podcast, I will hold them like side by side like this. And unless you are complete, even if you are a guitar nerd, you won't be able to tell unless you held them right up to your face to see
So
uh,
wait a
the,
second.
the
So
repaired
you
one.
still have the damaged one?
Well, it's been repaired. So here's the story.
Oh
So
wow.
my dad gives up, but he boxes up all the pieces, the shards, and sends them to my brother in California, in Southern California, who was in the music business. He's an audio engineer.
Mm-hmm.
He starts looking for a person to repair it. I start looking, like I start with Elderly Instruments in Lansing, and they say no. I'm not finding anybody. My brother finds someone in Santa Monica who says, I'm about ready to retire. I don't usually work on guitars, I usually work on violins, but I'll take this on as my final project before I retire.
Oh wow.
He's usually a violin luthier. So, luthier is a fancy word for someone that repairs stringed instruments, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, he takes it on and he has it for close to 3 years
Oh wow.
on a handshake deal, like no contract, just a handshake.
Okay.
And we're all wondering, like, where is this going? Like, are we getting scammed? Is this real? My brother kept saying, no, I trust this guy. So in the meantime, my dad had gotten a new guitar, the
Mm-hmm.
98, and he'd kind of forgotten about the 52. And this is important to the story.
Okay.
We never told my dad what we were doing. This was all secret.
Oh
This was
wow.
all 100% secret. Just the sons knew.
Mm-hmm.
So fast forward 3 years after we give him the guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, when we gave it to him, we're like, um, we know it probably can't be repaired, so it's playable. We just want to be able to hang it up on the wall and say, "There's
Yeah, of
Dad's
course.
guitar." And this guy says, "Oh no, it will be playable and as good as new." We're like, "Wow!" And so here comes the curveball. Big money. He's like, "No, it'll be about $3,000." And he followed through. So 3 years later, we get this guitar back and it's perfect. And we give him $3,000. And my dad still doesn't know anything about
Yeah.
this. So I think around his birthday, I don't know what year, I should know, I can dig it up. We circle back and we're at his house and
Mm-hmm.
we start playing guitars. And my brother's like, "Oh, Dad, I have a surprise." He brings out the 52.
Oh wow.
And the last time my dad had seen the 52 was like 10 years ago.
Oh
And
wow.
he had no idea what we were doing. We had no idea. So now, and I can text you a picture of the side by side, the 52 and the 98. So fast forward to year 2010,
Mm-hmm.
my dad passes away
Oh.
from Parkinson's disease, and he dies with 4 guitars and 4 sons.
Oh wow.
So, and you would think there would be fighting over who gets what. There was no fighting.
Oh,
Like
that's cool.
it fell into place. I'm like, well, if it's okay with everybody else, I would love the 98. And my brother Mike in California says, well, Dad already gave me the 52 because I helped restore it. So I got the 52. And then
Yeah.
Tim says, well, I kind of like, I don't even, I'll just take his cheap acoustic because I don't play very much. And then the fourth guitar was a lap steel guitar
Mm-hmm.
that he learned to play on. And my brother John said, well, I always wanted the lap steel. So it just like fell into place organically. There were
Yeah. Yeah.
no arguments, no discussion, no fist fights, no rock, paper, scissors. There was nothing. It
Oh, there
was
you go.
it was really nice. So to this day, I have the gorgeous 98 reissue of a 52. So the 52 was made in Kalamazoo, but by the time 98 came around, they were making them in Bozeman, Montana. So I ended up with the Montana, and that's why four of my guitars came out of that one building in Kalamazoo, and one wasn't because it was a
Okay.
reissue. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and what's fascinating to me, here's another backstory that I'm delving into recently is there was an era called the Banner years,
Mm.
and those years are when all the men that worked in the Gibson guitar factory went to World War II,
Oh yeah.
and almost all the employees at the Gibson guitar factory in Kalamazoo were women.
Oh
And a
wow.
lot of people think that those guitars are extra special. So I'm still working on this, but I think I have a Banner guitar
Oh wow.
that was made by women only. Because I have a 36, the oldest one I have is a 1936, and then I have a 41, and then I have a 65. So obviously the 65 is not anywhere near the war, but the 36 or the 41 may have been a Banner guitar, and that means women made the whole guitar, and so there's some extra mojo around the Banner years because they were made by women because all the men were in World War II. So that's another. There's just so many, in my
Is
opinion,
well, that's a
fascinating
fun
backstories.
fact.
Yeah,
That's like actually a good fun fact. Are they worth more because the women because those years of the World War II? Do they have the extra value?
I don't know. I haven't felt it, but
Okay.
I haven't studied really like what makes one well like what makes one Gibson more than another. So one thing is like with anything that you collect, if the supply is very small, meaning if they didn't make many of them, period, and all of a sudden they became sought after,
Yeah.
the prices are like my
A
uncle
lot.
owns a Pantera car,
Oh
and I
yeah.
think Elvis had one. I think there was like only 3,000 made in the entire world.
Yeah.
And it's a very close knit community, and everybody knows. Like if Andre were to sell his Pantera to Patrick, everyone would know. It's a
Yeah.
very close. So
Yeah.
with Gibson, if they made a guitar, I think this is how it goes. If they made a guitar and it didn't sell well initially, they stopped
Yeah.
and changed directions. Well, fast forward decades later, all of a sudden, people that guitar is sought after, and because there's only 300 made in the world,
Mm-hmm.
and you and I have talked about. Okay, so let me give you like on a high end, on a low end. I just recently bought a gorgeous
Mm-hmm.
1982 Gibson RD Artist,
Mm-hmm.
and we think the RD stands for Research and Development. And it's my favorite guitar to play. I
Oh
play it
wow.
almost every day, and I paid just under $2,000. Now the other end, when I watched the Mark Knopfler auction, when
Mm-hmm.
Mark Knopfler, the guitarist for Dire Straits,
Oh yeah.
he's he auctioned off a lot of his gear for charity. He ended up
Oh yeah.
raising $9 million, and there was
Yeah.
a whole bunch of Gibson Kalamazoos that I followed. Well,
Mm-hmm.
of course, the one that fetched the highest price was the one that he used in the video for Money for Nothing, the song, and
Oh
I
yeah.
think that was a Gibson Les Paul made in Kalamazoo, and I think it was $600,000 or $700,000. But
So you're
but
telling me that you have that guitar? No, I'm just kidding.
in my dreams, I do.
Yeah.
But really though, if there are a lot of people that say, I don't care about the value. I want to. It's got to feel good in my hands, and there's a chance that
Yeah.
my $2,000 Gibson feels better in your hands than Mark's $600,000 Les Paul.
Yeah, it's true. That's true.
But
That's true. I mean, it's all
because
about the
Mark touched it,
feel.
yeah, it is. It is. So if you're, I mean, I don't think I've ever paid more than $3,000. My sweet spot is between $2,000 and $3,000,
Okay.
and I know I've not paid more than three. I know I haven't. And I've got some. These guitars are gorgeous, I think. So,
So, so what's your dream guitar that's out there that you are like, yeah, I would pay more for that guitar because someone played with it. Your favorite band or favorite
oh,
guitarist,
well,
any of those guys from the times of your like maybe like Muddy Waters
oh, well,
or something
part
like
of
that.
part of preferring vintage is okay. Here's another interesting point:
Yeah,
is with like artwork. Like, let's say that picture up there was a very famous Van Gogh or a
yeah,
Dali. A Dali. Let's go
yeah,
with Van Gogh. Okay.
yeah.
Let's say I owned it, right?
Oh, yeah,
I would have evidence of ownership of it. And
yeah.
then there would be what they call, I think they call it a chain of ownership. So there would be records that say Patrick owned it from 2010 to now, and Patrick bought it from Andre.
Mm-hmm.
So with a lot of the works of art, I think they call it a chain of ownership.
Mm-hmm.
So before you buy it, you get to know who really owned it all these years. Well, there's no such thing with guitars.
No.
So if I buy a 70s Gibson guitar, you can't guarantee that BB King didn't touch it.
Oh, you're right.
And so I'm going to believe that BB King did touch it
Oh yeah.
because there's no way to prove that he didn't. And
Mm-hmm.
people think you're dreaming. Well, I'm not dreaming because I've been in Elderly Instruments when Elvis Costello was in there shopping for guitars.
Do you
I've
like Elvis Costello?
I love him. Yeah, he's coming to Michigan on Friday, Michigan Theater in Ann
Are you gonna
Arbor.
go see it?
Maybe, maybe.
Maybe. Oh.
I've been in Elderly Instruments when we forgot his name before. Big old jet airliner, don't carry me too far away. Steve Miller Band.
Steve. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I
Oh yeah.
I've been in the shop when Steve was picking out a guitar.
Oh wow.
So Steve might be also trading a guitar or selling a guitar. So I could,
I I don't know,
Steve,
man.
yeah,
It sounds like you should instead of moving to St. John's, go to Common Zoo and hang out there, and try to
Saint
bring back Gibson back to Michigan.
Saint Joseph, not Saint John's.
St.
Saint
Joseph. You're right.
Saint John's is over by Lansing. Saint Joseph is where I'm going. But I'll
Yeah.
okay. So next time we go on a road trip, we'll
Yeah.
go to Bell's Brewery. You've heard of Bell's Brewery,
Yeah.
right?
Let's do that. Let's do that.
Because I hear you like beer.
Nah, I love beer. I was at
Yeah,
Brewery Vivant last night.
yeah, I like that place. Yep.
I had their burgers and I had the fries and I had their stouts,
Yeah.
and yeah, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. I
Yep.
mean, and then I chit chat with a couple people there. But you know what? It was cool to listen to the whole Gibson thing, and it's too bad Gibson isn't in state of
Well,
Michigan.
I'll leave you with this thought because we're
Yeah.
wrapping up. Um, the legendary factory Okay, you're going to get all excited about this. The legendary Gibson Guitar Factory is walkable to the main Bell's Brewery, their flagship restaurant. You can walk between them.
Wow.
So
So
you're
we need
right.
to go soon.
If you love beer and guitars, you should live in between those two.
I do. I do. I live 45 minutes away. You're gonna live long further away from Kalamazoo now.
Well, I can live anywhere I want, so I might just move to Kalamazoo. Now,
See?
I've done some research. These days, I believe that in the legendary factory, heritage guitars are being made
Oh.
as we speak. However, heritage guitars, I believe, are owned by this giant global music
Oh.
conglomerate headquartered in Singapore.
Oh. That's a bummer.
I
Yeah,
think so.
big corporations shouldn't be owning stuff like that. You know.
This, yeah.
I
Now,
mean,
if you were to research, the legendary Guitar Factory, you will find an article from 2017 about all these big plans to renovate the building, to renovate the factory, to put in a restaurant, to put in a museum, to put in a beer garden. None of that's going on. And when I was down there a few weeks ago, actually the whole area is kind of depressing. I was
yeah.
there I was there on Friday afternoon at like 2, and I'm like, hello, where's everybody? Well, what's
It's
going on?
it's kind of like everywhere, man. I mean, like Grand Rapids is dead on Sundays and Mondays like it's no other. Oh, before I let you go, we gotta ask. I gotta ask you, how was that Sundance girl or the
It's good.
jazz there? Was it good?
Yep, yep. It really, they hit us in a segregated room. It was a birthday party for John Foley, who turned 85.
Who?
But you don't know him. He's just one of the regulars that comes to
Oh,
Monday night. He's there every Monday with his son, Patrick. And
okay.
he turned 85, and he asked John to play for his birthday. So really, to your point, the restaurant itself was very empty because it's Monday evening, but our little room was full of 30 people having fun and celebrating John's birthday, and it went really well. I got there early, and I was their roadie and helped them set up a little bit. It was cool.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Georgetta was there, and Rebecca was there, and Shakira was there. Yeah.
Shakira, that's her daughter.
No.
Oh, who's Shakira? You talking about the girl from Latin girl from Colombia? No, not Shakira. You don't know who she is. She's from the 2010s.
I guess you didn't meet Shakira. Shakira is a good friend of Georgetta.
Oh, man, I missed out.
So Georgetta was busy trying to couple everybody up. All she cares about is that someone has a match.
I'll see. Now I know. So my guess, she won't even be there next weekend or next week.
No, she's a regular. She's gonna start going to Monday nights, and yeah,
Well, I may go there then,
yeah.
just to
But
be amused.
I tease her about forgetting about the music. She's like, "Did you talk to Rebecca? Did you talk to Eve? Is so and so here? Did you blah blah? Where's the martini?" I'm like, we're kind of here
Yeah.
for the music, maybe. That's
Yeah,
just
you
her.
don't. Yeah, you don't like people interrupting the music.
Well, sometimes, I don't expect everyone. I don't expect everyone to sit there in silence, but Georgetta, oh my God,
Yeah,
never stops
yeah.
talking.
She likes to talk.
You
She likes
gotta
to talk.
you gotta rally for
Yeah,
her. You gotta get ready for her to come around.
yeah,
But
yeah.
she's a sweetheart. I like her, and she's a client and a friend, so it was fun.
All right, Patrick. It was
Cool, man.
fun. I'd
Yeah,
like to thank you for doing this. We have to do this again. Uh,
absolutely.
I wanted to thank all you guys out there, gals out there that watch this podcast. And you can find me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. I'll put it on YouTube and other platforms. Peace, love. This is the Crazy Dre Podcast Show. I'm gone.
All right, man. Have a great day. Talk to you
You
soon.
too.
See ya.
Yep. Bye.